Hi guys, welcome back to the channel Everything Bookish. My name is Jasmine and I make videos related to books on this channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the top 10 books that I read in the year 2018. Now, I read 18 books, a total of 18 in 2018. I just couldn't bring myself to read any more than that. I was busy, I had a lot of things that I needed to take care of. So even though 18 is not the number that I am really proud of, but I still am proud of reading 18 books because it's way more than the number of books an average person reads. So even if we keep on setting up goals of reading 100 books or reading 200 books, reading 300 books, reading at least one book is also an achievement. So I am, even if I'm not happy entirely, I am still content with the number that I have. So without getting into any further rambling, let's now talk about top 10 books that I read in the year 2018. So the books are not in any particular order. They are not being ranked in any particular order. They're not like the best book I read in 2018 and then the worst book I read in 2018. No, they are just those which really enriched my soul. I had an amazing time reading them. And as you'll see, some of them do have a low rating given by me on Goodreads, but are still a part of this list because the process of reading them was amazing. And that is what I think makes them a book that should be read by other people as well. The first book that I have on my list is Chandar and Sudha by Dharamveer Bharti, which was translated by Poonam Saxena. This book is actually a translation of Gunahon Ke Devta, which I haven't yet read. It was such a poignant tale. I do want to do a discussion video on this book, but for that I'll have to reread it, and I hopefully will do it in the next few months because this one needs a lot of discussion. It was amazing. It was really amazing. I cannot stress enough on the fact that a lot of you guys should be reading the book who haven't yet read it. So if you are one of those, the link of this book is going to be in the description box. Please go ahead and click on the link, buy the book and read it, and then come back and we'll talk about it in a future video. Now, the second book is a book that I remember not liking it while I was reading it because it was so gory, it was so painful to read, and not in a bad manner. It was not because I couldn't read it or I couldn't understand it, but the subject matter of the obedient father, of an obedient father, is hard hitting. It is soul touching. And as I had mentioned in my review of the book that I had done earlier in the year, I told you guys that this one was a very difficult read for me. And because for me, when I read the title of the book, I didn't in my wildest dreams imagine that this is going to be the subject matter of the book. Like, I had a vague idea that there might be some political wrongdoings about from the father's side that the daughter doesn't like or something like that. But the material that has been tackled in the book, I had no clue about it. And um, that it just blew my mind away. I would recommend this book to you guys. You should give it a chance. And I know that Akhil Sharma has also written quite a few more novels which I want to read, especially The Family Life. I think that was his first novel, if I'm not wrong. Um, but yeah, just like the CNN says over here, that it is an unsettling but affecting novel, infuriatingly grey. That's so true about this novel. It's So true. I mean, especially, because the book has been set into an era of Rajiv Gandhi's assassination and the whole political situation that was going on in the country at that time. So, because I am not from that era, I not very familiar to what was happening. So, everything has been explained, everything has been described so aptly that you actually feel the pain of all the characters, and um, the twists and the turns that make you love and you make you hate a character so quickly that it's a very fast-paced read. But since it is very heavy on drama, I had to keep it back and then pick it up once again after a few days, because for me, this subject was a very tough one to handle. There are two books on this list without which I am pretty damn sure I wouldn't have been able to make my 2018 top reads list. The first one being Incredia by Sarang Mahajan. The full name is Incredia Leuven of Breda. Danger looms tall, mystery runs deep. I mean, oh my goodness, this book, it is of around 381 pages. And let me tell you, these 381 pages don't even feel like 381 pages. These just feel like 81 pages, because it's such a exciting, interesting read that you just want to keep on turning pages, and just, unravel what's going to happen next, and what is going to happen to Leuven. How is he going to tackle the next situation that he's going to land in? And I am so excited for the second book to come out. I cannot wait wherever it's going to come out. I'm probably going to be the first one to read it, because I really enjoyed it. If you guys want to also enjoy it and want to know more of my thoughts on the book, my the link to the video that I made about this book, discussing about it, is going to be in the description box, along with the link to this book. So please go ahead, buy the book, read it, and then come back to the video and let's have a discussion on it. Many of you who follow me on Goodreads do know that 2018 was the year when I finally read Amish Tripathi's The Shiva trilogy. And from the Shiva trilogy, the second book, The Secret of the Nagas, was the one which I thoroughly enjoyed. Because in the first book, it's all about world building, it's all about character building, it's all about introducing you to a lot of characters. And yes, it does end in a cliffhanger, which kept me off my edges and made me read the second book immediately. But since in the second book, a lot of these characters have already been developed, and a lot of the storyline has already been developed in the first book, there is a lot more to explore. There's a lot more adventure happening that I enjoyed a lot. For me personally, I think that the second book is by far the best in the whole trilogy. I really didn't enjoy the third one. In the third book, I there was a lot of description that had no relation to the story, is what I felt. But in the second one, there is not a lot of description, but a lot of adventure, a lot of fighting, a lot of secret unraveling happening that I thoroughly enjoyed. And yeah, so I am going to talk about all of the three books in a separate video very soon. So keep an eye on that. Turn on the notifications so that you know whenever I post that video. But yes, this one, the second book of the Shiva trilogy, was my favorite. So the next book that I have on my list is an ebook, and I have recently done another book review of the same author. So you guys know which author am I talking about. It is J. Alcom, The Undelivered Letters. I really enjoyed the story building, the cliffhangers that he had in all of those letters. It was a really amazing read, and a quick one at that. So it really is deserving one, which has made it to my top 10 list. I've talked about the book in depth in a different video, so I'll link it in the description box or also on somewhere on the screen so that you can go ahead and watch that. But yes, Undelivered Letters was undoubtedly one of my best reads in 2018. Next on my list is Harinder Sikka's Calling Sehmat. So Calling Sehmat is about a lady or like a woman who has to leave all her life in India and settle into a different country, marry a person whom she doesn't even know at all, she doesn't even love, and be there as a spy for the country, and just be on a mission, and knowing the hardships of the mission, knowing the personality of Sehmat, understanding the psychology of this character, understanding how her brain worked, how she managed to do whatever she did. I really enjoyed reading this book. The next book that is on my list is a copy that I can't seem to find on my bookshelf. I don't know where have I misplaced it, but it is Sunshine Town by Manish Arora. Oh my goodness, this book. It had drama, it had young romance, it had lessons for readers, it had family drama, it had relationship drama, it had everything. I loved this book. I really enjoyed reading the book, and I cannot emphasize enough on the fact that people who are sort of lost in what they want to do, and they just can't seem to understand what where their life is heading towards, they probably should read the book. And yes, on the face of it, it is a young romance novel, but along with that, it also has the zeal to survive, the zeal to better yourself, and that whole aspect of the book is which is what I really loved. So if you guys want to know more about my thoughts of the book, then there's going to be a link of this video in the description box. I did a video on it, and I'll also link the book in the description box so that you can go ahead and buy it. I absolutely suggest you guys to go ahead and read it once in your life, because there were some aspects of this book that I really want to take forward in my life. So I'm hoping that you might also find something for you in the book. Seventh book that I want to include in this list is A Cage of Desires by Shuchi Singh Kalra. This one was, I think, the first ever adult fiction read that I've ever read in my life, and I was very skeptical of what the theme of this book is going to be, because on the face of it, it's all about a person being just not being able to express what he or she desires to be, or what he or she desires from a respective partner. That's what I really felt this book is going to be about. But once I read the book, this book is about aspirations. This book is about knowing one's true self and being able to express himself or herself in the best way possible. It's a book about how Indian relationships work on the core level, and I really enjoyed the aspect of how the character Renu, even after knowing that her life is nothing what she had ever dreamt of. She keeps on persevering, and she keeps on doing what she's best at and makes a life for her own. She stands up on her own and becomes a very successful person at that. So the journey that this character Renu takes is something that I really really enjoyed, even though this whole adult genre is not something that I'm very comfortable with. But on the whole, yes, this book is something that I would recommend you guys to read. I also did a book review of this book on my channel, so I'll link in the description box, and go ahead, watch it. And if you have read the book, then let me know what did you feel about it. So just a few minutes ago I said that this list isn't going to be complete if I don't add in two books. The first one I've already shown you, and the second one is Accent Level 1 by Srijib. To be very honest with you guys, I read this book so long ago. I think I read it in about February or March of 2018, but I still remember a lot of what the book was about. I just quickly read the blurb for you guys. Slowly, she sauntered towards Toya, stopped a few feet away, looked into Toya's eyes, and roared. It was an ear-splitting, feet-numbing, rib-shaking roar that promised death. This was the end of her, Toya knew. This was how she would die. In this unknown museum at the hands of this Olympian lioness, and she would never be found again. When it became impossible to choose between God and Satan, angels resorted to playing games. Games that would decide the guardian angel of this world. All warrior angels were split into two teams, Team God and Team Lucifer. Rules were laid down, an unusual map was designed, and a council was set up to administer these games. Satan has commenced one such game called Axon, and he has set the Indian Prime Minister's position as the goal of the game. Now, a completely unknown species will collide with humans to play a game where losing is not figurative. Angels will stoop to enter the grunge of Indian politics. A grey-eyed lioness will stop at nothing, and a group of young boys and girls will be forced to rise above their identities to play and win level 1 of Accent. Pick a side because the game has begun. I might be spoiling it for you guys, but by the end of the book, you or I wasn't able to pick a side, because by the end you get to know so much about all of these characters, and especially about someone who is from the Team God and someone who's from Team Lucifer, that you really don't know whom to just support, and you want to know more about it. So it was so captivating. It's about 385, 390 pages, and I read it in about 2 sittings. I couldn't keep it down. It was really amazing. It has been signed by the author, Srijit, and which tells you that this was sent to me for a review copy, and I haven't been able to do it. So I am going to reread the book because I really had enjoyed reading this one, and which is why this book is in my top 10 of 2018. But since I had enjoyed it so much and I have so many theories that I want to talk to you guys about, I am not going to tell you guys a lot about it over here in this video, but we'll have a video of this discussing it at length in the future very soon. Now, when you've read only 18 books, there's not a lot of books that you would choose from to be able to put them in your top 10 list. But there's this one book called The Case of Life by Imran Hashmi, which he wrote alongside with Bilal Siddiqui, that I, from the time that I read this, knew that I'll be putting it in my top 10 list. Not because it has been written by a celebrity or it, showcases an aspect of their life, but because of this young child who had to go through a lot during the years that he was growing up, the whole trials and tribulations of knowing that Ayan had cancer, and that he won't be able to play or he won't be able to go to school for a long period of time. From that to being able to administer him and diagnose him with a proper diagnosis, and from being able from that aspect to actually being free from cancer, and being the life of the party, being the life of the family. I really, really adored the kid. Undoubtedly, for the fighter spirit that Ayan had, I wanted to keep this book in my top 10 list. So here it is. And so here you go. Those were my top 10 books of 2018. Till the next video, keep reading and keep sharing your thoughts on if you've read any of these books in the past, and what did you feel about these books. Let me know all of that in the comments section, and I'll talk to you guys when I have another video up on the channel very soon.